Hello everyone, Retro Anju here with a pack of the dark. Probably, well, it's the most exciting pack that I've done so far for me. You know, I liked the Urza's block, and there's a lot of big hits that are in there. But the dark was one of those things that, growing up, it was almost a myth to me. I didn't start buying packs until 4th edition, so the dark was just barely out of reach. Like, I could get them. In fact, I did. I think I paid $9 for packs back in the day. But it was one of those things that I didn't get to buy a whole lot of. So, to finally have one, and especially with some of the hits that are in there today, like, you know, I ended up with, I think, 6 or 8 teen City of Shadows back in the day. And, God, it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, man, I wish I'd held on to those cards that were worthless back then. But anyway, let's see what we get. There's some fun things in here. This is also the last video I'm going to do before I find a new setup here. I just thought it would be a little poetic to do the dark in a more dark setting, right? If I'm correct, these are going to be my uncommons, and therefore the more exciting ones. Let's see what we get here. Ghost Ship, which, believe it or not, back in the day was one of the more powerful creatures. A flying regenerator, no matter how much it cost, was actually pretty decent. There wasn't as much removal back then, and creatures were definitely a lot less powerful. Yeah, there were a lot better things you could do with 4 mana, Jism Jin, but 2/4 flying regenerate, something that was not terrible back in the day. Then we got land leeches. You know, back in the day, this day, it always seemed like the formula for casting cost on creatures, what we now call mana cost, was their power and or toughness, +1 for each positive ability, -1 for each negative drawback. And this kind of card is what, kind of led me to that conclusion back then. It's 2/2, then +1 for first strike. So Grizzly Bears was 2 mana for a 2/2. But if you want a first strike on it, you had to add a mana. That may or may not have been their criteria, but it made sense to my mind. Marsh Gas. Back before Black outright killed everything for no reason. Marsh Viper. Yeah, poison counters. So this ended up being a pretty powerful creature, especially since back in the day you had Dwarven Warriors and Wand of Taunos. Yeah, now you've got Rogue's Rogue's Passage? Is that it? It makes any creature unblockable. Yeah, this guy hits you 5 times and you're done. And then we've got Goblin Shrine. And Miracle Worker. A little 1/1 with an ability. Oh, that shoots down my theory of power and toughness +1, -1, doesn't it? Oh god, these cards love to make liars out of me. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. I'll flip this one over. We've got a Sisters of the Flame, which I didn't really understand back then. Green was the color of creatures that produced mana. Why is this one producing red mana? Which, I guess, is still kind of a valid question. How many red creatures produce red mana just for tapping? But there we are. Alright. And now, what do we got here? Merfolk Assassin. Wonderful. I think I already talked about this in Time Spiral, didn't I? Wasn't it the one I opened for my time shift card in Time Spiral? You got your merfolk that kills a creature that you wouldn't normally be able to block. Which, you know, not entirely useless and much better back then. But here we are. Guys, remember to like and subscribe. Tell your friends about me. And once I get a new setup, we're going to be going to the more impressive packs. And either celebrations or, more likely, heartbreak for me. After having spent hundreds of dollars on each of these next few packs I'm going to open. But as for now, thanks for watching.